Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Jake Silver Show. Over the weekend, unfortunately, two more mass shootings occurred here in the U.S. Before I touch on those two tragic incidents, I do want to discuss Benjamin Netanyahu's visit to the White House today with President Donald Trump as they spoke to the press and did not accept any questions afterwards. Donald Trump pretty much just stood on by as Netanyahu shoved his shit down the throats of the American public and told exactly his intentions with Gaza and the rest of the Palestinians there. I mean, Donald Trump seemed like he was half asleep for most of Netanyahu's speech. And I too used to fall asleep sometimes when my dad would go on and on. I remember that as a kid. So it is understandable that Trump would fall asleep while his daddy was speaking. I give Trump a pass on that. But Bibi Netanyahu, the war criminal, flies across the pond just to tell the U.S. citizens exactly what he's going to do with or without Hamas accepting any type of peace deal or any type of deal involving Israel. So that's pretty telling when a foreign leader comes all the way across the Atlantic into the White House to tell us what he's going to do with our full support. And I'm pretty sure Trump had a little bit of a Freudian slip there, because if you go and watch the speech, Trump goes on to say that Israel has our full banking and then corrects himself. He meant to say backing, but I think irregardless of the terms used there, both apply. Israel has our banking. Israel has our backing. Backing, banking. You name it, Israel's got it. I mean, thousands of years this war's been going on. It comes to an end. This Abraham Accord will provide an eternity of peace, Trump says. He's even corrected himself in the way he says Abraham. It's always been Abraham Accord. I bet you he had a talk with Netanyahu, and he's like, Donald, it would be really great if you said Abraham, because that's how we say it. That's how the Jews say it, Abraham. So you must say when you talk about the Abraham Accord, say Abraham. It's more Jewish of you to say Abraham. We say Abraham, not Abraham. So Trump's even done that for him. I mean, he'll do anything for Bibi. Anything for Daddy Netanyahu. If he wants Abraham, tomato. However, how would you like me to say it, Bibi? Tell me. How do you say Abraham? What's the most Jewish way I could say Abraham? Abraham, got it. Trump's saying Abraham now. So things are looking good for us here. If Hamas rejects Trump's plan, then Israel will finish the job by itself. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says that if Hamas rejects U.S. President Donald Trump's plan, or if they supposedly accept it and then basically do everything to counter it, then Israel will finish the job by itself. With or without you, baby boy Donnie. With or without you, get with it or get rolled over. Whatever y'all have to say. If God is for us, then who could be against us? As Netanyahu would say, I mean, they were promised this land 3,000 years ago. So I don't know why any American could be against a genocide. Why are we for a genocide? What's the problem? They were promised this land. They're our greatest ally, guys. Why aren't you supporting a genocide? PayPal the White House right now and put in the notes of the PayPal, send to Bibi Netanyahu. I thought just a few days ago, Donald Trump was saying, I'm not going to allow the annexation of the West Bank. I'm not going to allow it. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Well, guess what, Don? He took a quick trip across the pond, probably funded by our money. The dinner was covered. The flight was covered. I'm pretty sure he probably came over on Air Force 2. Air Force One, fuck it. Throw him in there. Whole different type of energy once BB pulled up to DC. Whatever you need. Yeah, there's a blank check. Whatever you need, BB. Go. Oh, did I say I wasn't going to allow you to annex the rest of the West Bank? Oh, I can't believe I said that. I must have been tired. I must have not had my head on straight that day, Netanyahu. Because now that you're here in person, I feel way different. You could do whatever you want with Gaza and the Palestinians. Shit. You know what? Look, send them here. Send the rest of the Palestinians here. This can be done easily. This can be done the easy way, or it can be done the hard way, but it will be done, Netanyahu promises. We prefer the easy way, but it has to be done. All these goals must be achieved because we didn't fight this horrible fight, sacrifice the finest of our young men to have Hamas stay in Gaza and threaten us again and again and again with these horrific massacres. Netanyahu says a Palestinian state would reward terrorists, undermine security, and endanger Israel's very existence. I'm pretty sure most of the people dying here are Palestinians. The men, or the women and the children of Palestine, the state of Palestine that everyone in the world will identify except for the U.S. and Israel, pretty much. Pretty sure it's the women and children dying, for the most part. He stresses that the Palestinian Authority can have no role whatsoever in Gaza without undergoing a radical and genuine transformation. That means ending pay to slay, changing the poisonous textbooks that teach hatred to Jews to Palestinian children, stopping incitement in the media, ending lawfare against Israel at the ICC, the ICJ, recognizing the Jewish state, and many, many other reforms, says Netanyahu. Hey, question. I have a question. Can we get some of those textbooks that the Palestinian children are reading over to U.S. public schools? That would be great. That would be great because the textbooks that children currently get tell complete falsehoods of the situation in the Middle East, especially involving Israel. I mean, the victim card is consistent. It's played to this day. I mean, you saw just a week or two ago, Netanyahu is talking about bombing Qatar, and regardless of whatever happens, whatever atrocities Netanyahu carries out, he's got to bring up the Holocaust. That's like his go-to. 6 million Jews. The Holocaust. He has no ancestral ties to Jerusalem or the Holy Land itself. His family's from Belarus. All of these Ashkenazi Jews are from Eastern Europe. They have no ties to this land. This is not their land. If anything, it belongs to the Palestinians. They are the Israelites. These Israelis or so-called Jews that occupy the nation state of Israel are not Israeli by any means. Maybe 1948 Israeli. They are not. They have no DNA that goes back deep, rich into the soil that they occupy. So they got to bring up the Holocaust if anything happens. Bibi Netanyahu probably brings up the Holocaust when he's ordering Burger King. He's got to bring it up. He brings it up at any chance he gets. 6 million. He says that Trump's plan can be not only a new beginning for Gaza, I think it can be a new beginning for the entire region. He says that the Abraham Accords can be expanded and re-energized. It's not going to be easy. It's tough going. But I think if we succeed, you're absolutely right. We're going to open possibilities that nobody even dreamed of. Nobody could even dream of. A Riviera. A nice marina. Maybe a lazy river at the Gaza Strip. Casinos, a Trump Tower, Airbnbs, beautiful, beautiful swimming pools, luxury condos. I mean, this is going to be a Gaza that you've never even dreamed of. There's not going to be any dirty Palestinians rummaging around. No more Hamas. None of that. You don't have to worry about the terrorists. They're gone. Go ahead and get a timeshare here, Americans. Book it now, 2029. Thanks to the Abraham Accord. It's going to be beautiful. And once Israel gets full control of the Red Sea and they get a nice funnel up that Red Sea and they dominate that whole Middle Eastern economy, it's a wrap. Where do you want to go, BB? You tell me. The Uber's on us, the American citizens. After the Middle East is done, you tell us where you want to go, BB. You want to go to Australia? Where else do you want to expand the promised land? Where else do you want to go? Where do you want to go? Let us know, okay, BB? Just let us know. We got it. We got the cab fare. We got the hotel stay. Where do you want to expand? Where is the next genocide? Honestly, that's what I'm looking forward to. We're gonna get the after this Palestinian genocide. We're gonna get the next genocide before GTA 6. And the internet's gonna go crazy. Wow, a second genocide before GTA 6. Crazy. I guarantee it'll happen. Meanwhile, you as an American citizen, you can't even buy a home. You can barely afford groceries, your car insurance, but Bibi Netanyahu can expand. That's what's important here. We need to expand Israel, okay? Don't get so tied up in these geopolitics in the Middle East. It's really about Israel. We really just need to grow the Jewish state. That's really what this is about. Hamas. Hamas is a front. Hamas is not the real concern here. Not for Netanyahu. We need slot machines in the Gaza Strip. We need fine dining, Michelin-starred restaurants. That's what we need. We need investors. We need a Palantir headquarters in the Gaza Strip. That's what we need. We don't need these ugly gray high-rise condos filled with Palestinian kids and women. We'll bomb them out. Get the casinos ready, Trump. Netanyahu says those who attack us pay a heavy price, but those who partner with us advance progress and security for their peoples. Turning to the phone call with his Qatari counterpart, Netanyahu says that he told him Israel was targeting terrorists. It wasn't targeting Qatar. And of course, we regretted the loss of the Qatari citizen. It wasn't our target. He adds that working out grievances with Qatar and the trilateral body announced by Trump would be good for everyone. Yeah, it would be good for everyone. We didn't mean to bomb Qatar. Yeah, the bomb went to Qatar. We didn't mean to bomb Qatar. We just sent the bomb and Qatar happened to be there. I know you guys have a great relationship with Qatar, but we bombed them. Oops, a Qatari citizen died. My bad, Trump. I said sorry. You should speak with him. Everything will be good. I don't know if you guys know, but this makes Donald Trump look extremely weak. Extremely weak. Netanyahu just comes over the Atlantic into the White House as a war criminal, says what he's going to do in Gaza, and then apologizes for killing a Qatari citizen. We have great relationships with Qatar. He bombs them without the United States military even knowing, and then just says, you know what? My bad. My bad we bombed your friends. I know they made your jet, Trump, but we're going to bomb whoever we want to bomb, okay? Just keep making the bombs. Keep funding the IDF. Don't worry about who we bomb, Donald, okay? We're going to bomb whoever we want. It's my bad. Now, an update on good old World War III. Things are headed in the right direction. We are fast tracking World War III because Trump finds new leverage in Ukraine fight with Tomahawk threat and long range strike authorization. President Donald Trump is flexing new leverage in the war in Ukraine, allowing the nation to use U.S. weapons to strike deep into Russia, weighing whether to provide Kyiv with Tomahawk cruise missiles and vowing Ukraine can take back all its land, while pressing China and India to slash purchases of Russian oil. Ukraine supporters are cheering the shift, noting that after months of frustration over the grinding conflict, Trump appears to be changing tactics. From a combative February meeting with President Vladimir Zelensky to his declaration last week that Ukraine could reclaim all of its original territory, the president is signaling a harder line on Moscow. Awesome. We go from before Trump gets into office. We're gonna end the war in Ukraine. There's gonna be peace. I could end the war tomorrow. I'm pretty sure he said that. I could end it tomorrow if I was the president. And now, after deep thought and reflection on the topic, Trump goes, "You know what, guys? I really think you can win this thing. Even though Russia over the past 3.5 years has occupied over 30% of your territory in your country. I've really thought about this. I've had an epiphany. I really think you guys could win this. I've been watching a lot of NFL football. These teams perform under tremendous amounts of pressure in the fourth quarter. They perform greatly with their backs against the wall. I think we're going to win big. I think you guys got this one. We're going to get some tomahawks shipped over to you guys. We're going to get some tomahawks over there. You guys can do whatever you want with them. Bomb Moscow, bomb St. Petersburg. I mean, these missiles got some range. They got some capability to them. Bomb wherever you want to bomb in Russia. On Fox News Sunday, Ukraine envoy Keith Kellogg revealed that Trump had authorized long-range Ukrainian strikes inside Russia. Vice President J.D. Vance added that the administration is weighing whether to send Tomahawk missiles, a capability the Biden White House had denied. The weapons would be funded by European partners. One less thing we got to pay for, guys. Check that off as a win for us. We don't got to pay for the Tomahawk missiles that are being transferred to the Ukrainian soldiers. They're just going to be made here. We may have paid for that part, but we're not going to pay for the transfer of them. It's going to be funded by European partners, who we don't know. Just trust them on this one. The U.S.-made Tomahawk has a range of about 1,500 miles, meaning Kyiv could theoretically target Moscow if Trump approves the transfer. Russia quickly issued warnings, with Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov questioning whether Ukrainians could operate such systems without American assistance. Who can launch these missiles, even if they end up on the territory of the Kyiv regime? Peskov asked. Can they be launched by only Ukrainians, or must it still be done by American personnel? Who provides the targeting? A very deep analysis is needed here. I'll give you the deep analysis, Dmitry Peskov. The Americans are going to fire these missiles. They're going to do the targeting, and they're going to fire the missiles. This is just PR. This is just damage control by the Trump administration. I mean, the corruption with the Biden administration, extremely noticeable. The Trump administration is continuing the same level of corruption within its administration. The word transfer of Tomahawk missiles is only being used to make Americans feel good. Oh, they're just transferring these missiles if it were to happen. They're just going to transfer the Tomahawk missiles. They're just transferring them over. They're just going to transport them. The Ukrainian soldiers can't operate these Tomahawk missiles. They have no idea how to use them. These are U.S.-made Tomahawks. I mean, come on. Who do you think's going to do the targeting, if anything? If they're going to be utilized, the U.S. military is going to do the targeting and launching of the Tomahawk missiles. So things are looking good. What is it? What is the What is it, Kashi? What is it? You can probably do it on steak. What are the odds on World War III happening? Because it's looking great. I'm not a fear monger by any. I'm not. I don't like people to be fearful. I'm just telling you what's happening in the world right now. And Donald Trump wants to authorize the transfer of these Tomahawk missiles. Bomb Moscow. That's what he's green lighting, essentially. But the Americans aren't going to be the one. Don't worry. If World War III starts, it's not going to be the American military launching these missiles or targeting the launch of these missiles. Don't worry. Ukrainian soldiers have no idea how to do this shit. He dismissed the weapons as strategically meaningless. There's no panacea that can change the situation on the front. There are no magic weapons, whether Tomahawk or others, that can alter the dynamics, Peskov said. Still, Trump's stance marks one of his most striking reversals. Last week, he suggested Ukraine could not only hold its ground, but also return to its original borders, calling that very much an option, while urging NATO nations to shoot down Russian drones and jets that cross into their airspace. He added that Russia has been fighting aimlessly for 3.5 years in a war that should have taken a real military power less than a week to win. This is not distinguishing Russia. Yeah, Putin, if I would have had my guys over there, we would have taken Ukraine in a week. We would have won on Monday and been out by Sunday in time for football. We could have been watching the Dallas Cowboys by Sunday. Ukraine would have been ours. A real military power, Trump says. 3.5, if you would have given me 3.5 years, we'd have taken the rest of Europe. Come on, Putin. Not very distinguishing. I'm going to slide my boys some tomahawks. Shit is just crazy. FBI investigating Michigan church shooting as targeted violence. Some worshipers unaccounted for. Now, this is another incident where the FBI is involved, and it stinks. It stinks. With this mass shooting in Michigan and the one I'm going to talk about in a little bit, the one in North Carolina, they both involved U.S. veterans. The FBI is involved in this one, and it just stinks to me. I know you guys have heard of MK Ultra. This is MK Ultra 2.0. I mean, the Democrats have been the one to, request. The Democrats, along with a handful of Republicans, but for the most part, the Democrats are the ones that support gun reform and things like red flag laws. But this is a conspiracy, but there are some things that line up with these two shooters in these mass shootings over the weekend. Both U.S. veterans, both 40 years old. And of course the FBI is involved in this church shooting, and they just chalk it up to mental health. Well, maybe Donald Trump, if you didn't defund the programs for mental health of veterans, I'm not saying it would have prevented this shooting, but hey, just don't defund programs for mental health care of our veterans. The FBI is looking into the Michigan church shooting and fire as an incident of targeted violence. Authorities identified ex-Marine Thomas Jacob Sanford, 40 years old, as a suspect who allegedly smashed a pickup truck into the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc, opened fire, and set the building ablaze during a crowded Sunday service. Now, these mass shootings are happening at these churches during church service, during the masses, and the conspiracy that kind of clicks in my brain is, what better way to get gun-loving Christian conservatives to support gun reform than by having seemingly conservative men attack Christian conservative places of worship. You got to be pretty weak-minded. You can't really think outside of the box. You're not the biggest conspiracy theorist. You might believe some of these conspiracies that the MAGA team likes to ride on, but in terms of like an MK Ultra, where you're taking these vulnerable veterans of our U.S. military and getting them to carry out these heinous acts with some really, really stringent CIA visits. They take them in for a year or maybe even less, maybe a few months, and they really coax them and get them prepared to do these type of acts. Again, this is all just conspiracy, but they use these programs to get these vulnerable guys who are dealing with anxiety, depression, PTSD, and they carry out these heinous acts on these Christian places of worship. I can't think of a better way to get at least the boomer generation, conservative Christians, behind some type of gun reform, behind some type of additional amendment to our constitutional rights involving our right to bear arms. I'm just saying, I think it's a great recipe to get even your most conservative Christians behind some type of gun reform. I'm just putting it out there. It's possible. Police killed Sanford after he allegedly killed at least 4 people and wounded 8. Authorities said he was from the neighboring small town of Burton. Reuben Coleman, acting special agent in charge of FBI Detroit field office, said Sunday, "I can confirm at this time that the FBI is now leading the investigation and is investigating this as an act of targeted violence. Sanford's motive is not yet clear. Investigators were searching Sanford's home, but authorities did not say what they found or provide any additional details about him, including whether he was a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, widely known as the Mormon Church." And you know what? I did a little digging on the Mormon Church and the history of their political violence or political vigilance, because I'm like, after this mass shooting, just a couple of weeks ago, the Mormon Church is tied into the Charlie Kirk assassination with Tyler Robinson because he grew up with a Mormon family. So I'm not big on coincidences. But the Book of Mormon apparently praises these past acts of political violence. Kind of their whole stance on it was it's a kind of a vigilante move, and it was back when, the Wild West was the Wild West, and people just took justice into their own hands. So it was just strange to me. It kind of perked my ears up a bit. I'm like, oh, the Mormon Church again. Why is the Mormon Church being so involved in these high-profile incidents? And I'm not accusing the Mormon Church of co-conspiring with the U.S. government in order to instill fear into the public and, subconsciously implement gun reform into conservative Christians' brains. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying it's interesting that the Mormon Church has been so involved and tied closely into these incidents with the Charlie Kirk assassination and then this church in Michigan. It's just interesting. That's all I'm saying. The one in North Carolina, Marine veteran charged in deadly North Carolina waterfront shooting appears subdued in court. A decorated Marine veteran charged with firing an assault rifle from a boat at a waterfront bar in North Carolina, killing 3 people and wounding 5, appeared subdued in court Monday, as prosecutors said they may seek the death penalty. Nigel Edge, 40 years old, a Purple Heart recipient whose last assignment was with a Wounded Warrior Battalion, made his first court appearance via video link after Sunday's mass shooting. He's charged with murder, attempted murder, and assault. Again, 40 years old. And Nigel Edge is not even his real name. He changed it. I mean, this guy has obviously had some mental health issues. I'm pretty sure he was shot in the head. He was like left for dead in Iraq back in 2007, 2008. He got shot 4 times and I think once in the head. And this guy was not okay upstairs. But again, 40 years old, just like the shooting in Michigan at the Mormon church, and a U.S. veteran. And there's just a lot of things lining up here. Just perfect candidates for an MK Ultra program. I mean, for all we know, these two 40-year-olds could have been bunkmates over the past year, and then they just got them ready for this big weekend. Go get them, boys. You're going to ram your truck with 2 American flagpoles sticking out of the bed right into this Mormon church. You, buddy, you're going to do a drive-by with an AR-15 or a float-by with an AR rifle, an AR-styled rifle, and just light it up. We're going to get these conservative Christians to support gun reform, because when we get these 15-minute cities, much like the UK is doing, I don't know if you guys noticed that, digital ID, that's coming here. Digital ID is coming here. The smart cities are happening within the next decade. The government wants to make sure that we are not heavily armed or armed at all going into these smart cities. You won't own anything. You won't have a job, but you will get your monthly stipend. You will have your nice apartment that has the same exact dimensions as all of your neighbors. You won't have to work. You'll be able to go down into the city, walk the streets, witness the holograms of all the ads, all the paid ads. Unless you pay your monthly subscription, then you can get reduced ads when you walk through the streets, but you will get your notifications to renew your OnlyFans subscription. It's a beautiful future for us Americans. You won't even need a car. You're not going to be able to own one. You won't even need a car. You'll have a Lime scooter in your name. Your monthly stipend will refund that account. You'll be able to get around the smart cities. Don't worry, guys. It's gonna be great here in America. It's gonna be great. I know I'm not gonna be getting a brain chip, not getting a digital ID. I'm getting my passports in line for my family, and Latin America maybe some other third world country. I don't know, but I will not. I'll stick around for whatever we got to do here in America, but I will not buy into any new world order, one world government being forced down our throat, them stripping our rights away, one amendment at a time. I'm not going to stick around for a smart city. I'm not. I'm sorry, guys. I'm out of here. Law enforcement officers got the confession from the suspect following his arrest, said North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation Director Chip Hawley at a news conference Monday. He did not elaborate. 5 people remain hospitalized from the violence in Southport, a historic port town about 30 miles south of Wilmington. None of the victims' identities have been released. I don't know. Whether people have died, that's one thing. But I do know that this cabal of Freemasonry that runs our world, that runs our United States government, the Freemason oligarchs that heavily influence our government, they basically are the government at this point. They're not scared to shed a little blood in order to get their agenda pushed further along. So just these mass shootings to me are just they're screaming false flag. All of these events are screaming false flag to me. There's something greater in the works here. And something is not right here. Something's not right here with these mass shootings. Along with the Charlie Kirk assassination. Something is not adding up. It really was a turning point after the Kirk assassination. And something's not adding up. That's all I'm saying. Stay tuned. District Attorney John Davis said his office had yet to review medical records, but described Edge as having significant mental health issues after experiencing a traumatic brain injury, according to WECT News. The DA hasn't reviewed any medical records, but he does know he had significant mental health issues. Was it the incident who told you that? Was it his actions that told you he had significant mental health? How do you not look at the mental health records and you know he had mental health issues? Authorities said Edge piloted a boat close to shore, stopped briefly, and opened fire at a crowd of vacationers and other patrons in what Southport Police Chief Todd Coring called a highly premeditated targeted attack. A charging document says he used an AR-style rifle with a silencer and scope. He was arrested about half an hour later at a U.S. Coast Guard cruise after a U.S. Coast Guard crew spotted him pulling a boat from the water at a public ramp on Oak Island where he lives. Edge requested a court-appointed attorney and declined to comment during his appearance in Brunswick County Court, WECT News reported. He showed no obvious emotion, as the district attorney said his office would review whether the death penalty is appropriate. No plea was entered. Edge was ordered to remain in custody pending his next court hearing scheduled for October 13. Governor Josh Stein said the weekend shootings were further proof of the need for improvements to fix our broken mental health care system. We know the vast majority of folks with mental health challenges pose no risk to others, but some can, Stein said. There are too many people in our communities with dangerous obsessions exhibiting threatening behavior who do pose risk. Put them in the insane asylums. Pretty sure Trump's bringing them back. But who are we going to put in these insane asylums? Who are we going to put in these institutions? You know, is it me and you? Is it people who oppose Israel? Who is it? Who's going to be locked up into these crazy houses? Because something's telling me with the way things are going that it's not going to be people who genuinely need mental health treatment. They're going to be there too. They're just going to be on a different floor from you and I. They're not going to be on the DHS list floor. These are the people who are domestic terrorists. These are the actual crazy people. We're going to be on a separate floor. It's okay. It'll be chill. It'll be vibes. The North Carolina legislature passed a criminal justice reform bill last week in the wake of the stabbing death of a Ukrainian refugee on a Charlotte commuter train that in part includes a greater emphasis upon defendants who need mental health examinations. Stein hasn't yet said whether he'd let the bill become law or veto it. So another coincidence. You have the stabbing of the Ukrainian refugee lady. Then you have this mass shooting carry out. I'm telling you, there's no such thing as coincidences here, people. 2 incidents in North Carolina. You got these 2 incidents involving the Mormon church. Are the Democrats and Republicans co-conspiring to slowly strip away at our rights as American citizens? I'm not saying they are. I'm asking, are they? What are these false flags doing? What is the purpose of these incidences? I believe I have a great hunch, humbly so. The legislation lacks a red flag law pushed by Democrats for years that would allow a judge to take away guns temporarily from a person whom a judge has found to be a grave risk to the community or themselves. Stein said he thinks such a law is a good idea, although he didn't know whether it would have been triggered in this case. No, it wouldn't have been triggered in the case. This guy was in the MK Ultra program. Okay? I will never be a supporter of any more gun reform or gun laws in addition to whatever is included in our Second Amendment right to bear arms. The concept of any legislature behind red flag laws is a slippery slope. It is an icy hill to stand on. Who's to say that the U.S. government can not target you and not target me when it comes to what they consider a target on their red flag laws? I mean, if they don't like what you say, if they don't like how you're speaking, they could easily they could red flag you. They don't like a tweet you make, all of a sudden the ATF's at your door the next morning. It sounds crazy here in America, but it's happening in the UK. People are showing up the same night a tweet that the government doesn't like goes out. So be careful in the voting booths next year. And whether you're left or whether you're right, any more power that you give the government when it comes to free speech and the right to bear arms is a slippery slope. And before you know it, you'll be in a prison cell, or you'll be at home without any firearms that you previously owned. You won't be able to buy new ones just because they didn't like your tweet, or maybe they don't like your YouTube channel. Maybe they don't like your TikTok. Maybe they don't like what you reposted on Instagram. Maybe they don't like a couple comments you liked. Red flag laws are a big no-no. And don't get so emotionally wound up with these, I call, false flag incidents involving attacks on Christians. Yes, Christians have been attacked for thousands of years. But when these coincidences are lining up with the shooters, with the Mormon church's involvement, something about them just doesn't add up. And it just screams false flag to me. I hope I'm completely wrong, but I'm just saying keep an eye out on these mass shootings that are, more is coming. I'll tell you that. There's going to be more mass shootings. They're going to happen at churches. They're going to happen at whatever type of large gathering that's coming in the future. Just stay safe. Stay strapped. Stay prayed up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in this week. Christ is King. Make sure you please like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next week.